All right, we talk about F bar, we talk about the 8938, but yeah, this form is a beast. It's the 5471, and this is a information return. Okay, so the full name for this is information return of a U.S. person with respect to certain foreign corporations. Okay, I know it's a long name, and it's a beast because it's a really complex form with a lot of schedule. We got a schedule B, C, D, G, H, yeah, all the way to Q. Okay, so based on specific scenario, you're going to add a different schedule. It's really really complex and has multiple schedules. So you must report detailed information, even though it's just a information return. You gotta report the detail. So yeah, it's a pretty complex. And so basically, as I said multiple times, when I'm memorizing different requirements, I'm sort of thinking like a legislator why they need this. Okay, so basically it's used to satisfy the requirements of the IRS need to know when I use it as person, right? Whether it's a citizen or it's a resident or certain entities. This is like always some people forget about it if they like open up a company, LLC, or that. If that entity has control or ownership, or even a single person, right? U.S. person have control, ownership, or a specific role. We will talk about that, right? In foreign corporations, IRS want full transparency. Okay, and that kind of transparency is the information return that you're going to file and to tell them, right? So that's the form 5471. Okay, so it's not for everyone tied to foreign corporations. Okay, so basically, if you fill this form, there are like categories of folders. So basically, depending on your role, your ownership, and your control, and they're like depending all this like information that depending on the trigger. Okay, so basically, if you reach that certain trigger, and then you trigger to file this information return form. Okay, so basically, it's like you own the 10% or more, and this is like you got a little bit nuance here, by value or by voting right. So voting right is something that a lot of people just omit or just some gotcha, right? Because you say, well, by values, I hold like 10% of the share, but sometimes if you got voting power more than 10%, those also count. So basically, it's like direct ownership or indirect. You can like heavily influence that foreign corporations. You know what? You also consider own 10% or more. Okay, direct, indirect, constructive ownership, all that consider the key trigger. Also, if you are a officer or director of a foreign corporation, if a certain ownership threshold are met, okay, we'll talk about that in detail later. As I said, it's really complex. I just want to quickly give you the overview, right? So basically, also if you're like buying or selling shares, okay, like doing a little bit investing, and you are using your own person, like you are a U.S. person, you got an entity that is a U.S. Entity, U.S. person, you acquire or dispose the shares, like, and then all that will cause you to somewhat like cross that 10% threshold. Basically, when your ownership not only just exceed that 10%, but sometimes you downward, right? As long as you cross that 10% relationship, you know what? This is a form that you need to consider. Okay, and also you may also need to file a CFC. That stands for Controlled Foreign Corporation. But yeah, so basically that's like a 50%. That's more than this 10%. So basically, if you are U.S. shareholders, like you own a foreign corporations more than 50%, that's like controlling rights. You may also need to file your information return as a controlled foreign corporation, CFC. But but if you are worrying about this scenario, I strongly recommend that you hire someone professional because this is a really sensitive as well as complex form. And of course, you might think, what about I got like foreign corporations, but that corporation is dormant, right? It's like it's never running anything. It's never going to receive or pay out any money. Just invest in certain operation. That operation is just that that corporation just dormant, just sleep there, right? Or if you got like a really minimum activity, right? But you know what? You're still required to file this because you meet the ownership, or sometimes you meet the filing categories. You still need to report that. Remember, I just talked about the there is like categories of filers, right? So as long as you reach that category of filers, you got to file it.